That's better. Hi there, it's me, Chris Pritchard, and this is the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. It's Thursday, let's go. Right, let's start with, let's start with the giveaway, seeing as we normally do it. Rather than going over to Instagram today, we're going to do it right here, right now. See that cap over there and that Velo skin bidon? Do you want those? I mean, I'm sick of seeing that hat in this place, and I'm not going to use the Velo skin bidon because, well, it's just too nice. I hate using bidons. How many times am I going to say bidon? Because every time you put it into your thing, it scuffs it up, and I just don't want to scuff it up because it looks so nice. So if you want to scuff it up though, feel free. Leave a comment down below. Make it positive, make it nice, say something nice, and then I'll randomly pick one tomorrow, and you could be the winner of these gifts right there. Okay? Shall we get into the news? Let's get into the news transition. First up, and yesterday, Team Ineos announced that British national champion Ben Swift will be attending this year's Tour of Britain. But Ben's not the only Swift that's going to be attending. Connor Swift at RKS Semsic will be attending Tour of Britain, which starts in a week's time. Yes. Don't forget, I'm probably going to be there, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and do all that stuff you need to make sure you get some sweet exclusive footage from Tour of Britain, I guess, from me. Mark Cavendish has also announced that he's going to be attending the 6 days in London. The Manxman has just confirmed he's going to be taken to the boards again at London's 6-day event, which takes place on October the 22nd to the 27th. He's also going to be lining up against one of his biggest adversaries, Elia Viviani. Now, if you've not already got tickets for that, it could be sold out, I don't know. But if you are around London, if you can get to the 6-day event, I highly recommend it. It's going to go off, especially with Mark Cavendish being there. The atmosphere is always great down in London, but it's even better when Mark Cavendish is riding. Next up, and let's check this tweet out from Elke Wayland. Just going about our business, interviewing Peter Stettiner after the stage, and then this happens.
Two smaller teams rolled off, and the Peloton was kind of content. It was much more of a old school style race with a, whoa, yeah, you have dos ruedas, huh? Espacio.
This is what happens at finishes of the Vuelta.
Elke herself replied to this tweet saying, I got hit by a motorbike while interviewing Peter Stettiner. And how was your day? I'm okay, by the way, no stress. Cool glasses emoji. Sticking with Twitter, and this is a short snippet from the Cycling podcast when they spoke to Bradley Wiggins about his 2011 La Vuelta.
At that point when we decided to do the Vuelta, it was more about the World Championships than let's go for GC at the Vuelta. It just so happened that once we got there, you know, we ended up doing a GC. I seem to remember we started pretty badly in the team times. We were second or third from last. But at that time, it was just like day by day. That's how that's what the mantra had become. Funny enough, I remember Chris Froome was a late starter in that team at the Vuelta because at that point I think they were considering getting rid of him, which seems crazy now when you consider what he's done and that he won the race now as it appears. So. And I still remember having a conversation in the back of the bus. I think it was with Dave at the time. What do you think? Do you think we should keep Chris next year? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been fantastic so far in this race. He's got an engine on him, and if you could apply that engine, you know, the world's his oyster. So
it is indeed a sliding doors moment. But think about it. Dave Brailsford goes to Bradley Wiggins and says, Brad, what do you think about Froome? Do you think we should keep him? He says no. What happens? Dave goes, all right, we'll get rid of him. He goes to another team. Bradley Wiggins never wins the 2012 Tour de France. Bradley Wiggins never wins the 2012 London Olympic time trial. We never have the summer we had in 2012. If anything, we should thank Bradley Wiggins for saying, yes, we should keep Froome. Because if Froome had gone to another team, there is no way Bradley Wiggins would have won that 2012 Tour de France. Froome would have won it. And the fact that he was on the team stopped him from doing it. So in one way, Wiggins was protecting himself, but also he was shooting himself in the foot to never win anything beyond 2012. Next up, and potentially massive, huge news within the indoor fitness sector and indoor cycling sector. You know Peloton Interactive, right? Those guys that run those stupid, so annoying adverts mid-roll. In fact, probably like this one. Now, if Google were doing the job right and Peloton are still trying to push out to cycling fans potentially that advert right there would have been a Peloton advert. Was it? Who knows? Anyway, Peloton are going public. The company is currently valued at $4.15 billion. And with this IPO, they're looking to take the value of the company all the way up to around $8 to $10 billion. And I guess when you see numbers like that, you can understand why the likes of Zwift, RGT, CV Arcade, everybody is trying to crack the market between that commercialization that Peloton have, because Peloton is not aimed at cyclists in any way, shape or form. It's aimed at gym goers. It's aimed at people who don't have the time to go to the gym but still enjoy doing spin classes, doing gym classes. And not only that, they've extended it from the Peloton bike. They've also released the Peloton treadmill, and now they're doing streaming services to people without any equipment and doing boot camps. And it looks like that's where the mainstream of revenue is going to come from, not necessarily buying the hardware, but those live streams. Now, from my understanding, when it came to Zwift, for instance, that Zwift were trying to take on the cardio aspect of gyms and trying to get people out of gyms onto their bikes within the comfort of their own home, and to get more people to work out on Zwift rather than to go to the gym and do cardio. Obviously, Zwift has also turned into a running platform now, and potentially rowing, elliptical training could be coming out for Zwift in the near future. But Peloton are taking it one step further by not only offering spin classes to people, running classes, but also you've got strength, you've got yoga. If you've got the equipment at home, you could potentially never have to go to a gym. Once you take into consideration the cost of the gym membership that you could potentially be paying, Peloton actually doesn't sound that expensive. Yes, you've got to shell out £2,000 for one of their bikes, but like me and like a lot of other cyclists, if you've got an indoor trainer, you could potentially just stream it straight to your iPad and go through a class without having to have spent all that money on a Peloton bike. Wait there, Pritchard. You're making it sound like it's cheap and everyone can afford it. I'm not saying that. I know it appears that when I say that. I wasn't eating biscuits. Basically, I'm trying to say here is, I understand it's not cheap. Okay, I understand it's not cheap. I'm not trying to say it's cheap and it's an affordable way of training. I'm just saying when you compare it to a gym membership, actually, yes, it sounds like you're outlaying more money in the first instance, but potentially price per use would be reduced dramatically because you potentially might use it more when you're at home. Does that make sense? Carry on, Pritch. But here, let me pass the question off to you. Do you think that this is going to have a ripple effect out to our part of the industry in terms of what Zwift do now? Do you think they're going to look at other ways to incorporate fitness into their apps? Do you think we could potentially all stroll down to the beach on Watopia and start pumping iron? Is that something we're going to be doing later on in life? I don't know. But it'd be interesting to get your thoughts down below. Peloton going public, do you think it's a good thing for the industry as a whole? And if you've used Peloton, does it have any sustainability, or is it like a lot of things where you just buy it and then it becomes a clothes horse, but for some reason you keep paying that membership just like you do on your gym? I don't know. Let me know down below. Next up, and before we get into La Vuelta highlights, this story, I've got a feeling it's going to split the viewership right down the middle. We're going to have people saying, yes, it's great. We're going to have people saying, no, it's a stupid idea. But as ever, I want to know your thoughts on this one. The UCI have just crowned their first ever UCI e-mountain bike world champions. Alan Hatherley and Natalie Schneider have taken victory in the first ever UCI e-mountain bike world championships. So congratulations to both winners of the men and the women's first ever UCI e-mountain bike world championships. But what's your view on this? What do you think to this? Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I mean, hey, before we go any further, the UCI e-mountain bike championship is way better than what the FIM are doing with their EX bike debacle. Oh my God.
Quickly, nearly as quickly as Swiatek himself. And it's just changing all the time.
So these things are restricted to kilometres per hour, are they, or is it just watts?
It's power and speed. So he's got a maximum of 450 watts and also a maximum of 45 kilometres an hour assisted. And they reckon they can actually keep the power on for the entire race duration here. So they will be getting the assistance throughout.
So basically the FIM have taken e-bikes and just made them race on a motocross track. How insane. Now in both classes, the FIM and the UCI, these e-bikes are restricted in terms of top speed and assistance. So it's not a matter of just being able to power away full speed ahead and just not have to use your legs. Obviously there is some assistance, but I don't know. I really don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for the sport. Is it just going to sit in a brand new subcategory like indoor cycling does, for instance, that doesn't have the pedigree and the passion behind it, but it is another avenue for riders. For instance, Julian Absalon, he's 39 now. He obviously can't maintain the same fitness levels that some of the youngsters have nowadays in the mountain bike scene. So does it give people like that an opportunity to actually extend their career and ultimately be able to fight for World Championship rainbow jerseys, which they otherwise wouldn't be able to? Or is it just a bit of a fad? I really don't know. Regardless of what we think, e-bikes are here to stay, and e-bikes are going to get more and more people on bikes who otherwise wouldn't be. So that in itself is an amazing thing. But should e-bikes be left to the commercial side of cycling? But what's next? We've already seen e-bikes being used in road races, not illegally, but actual road races having an e-bike classification in there. So let me know your thoughts down below. Should we allow bikes into the racing side of the world of cycling? Or should we just leave them to the commercial side of the industry? Let me know down below. Stage 6 is done and dusted and in the books, and I guess this will go down as one of those stages where, well, it wasn't really about the win or anything like that. It was more about the riders we lost today. Now, prior to stage 6, the biggest name leaving the tour so far was Steven Kruijswijk. He went on stage 4. But stage 6 has seen no less than 4 riders abandoned within the same crash. Not only that, 2 riders, both capable of GC contention for EF Education First. Our very own Hugh Carthy, he's out. Rigoberto Uran, he's out. Nico Roche, who held on to the red jersey for a few days, he's out, as is Victor De La Parte. After the stage, George Bennett was interviewed by a reporter, and he clearly looked shaken by it. If you've seen it, you'll realise he was properly shaken up by this fall. He wasn't sure at the time exactly who had caused it or what had caused it, but further reports are saying that it was actually Tony Martin who started the whole ripple effect of this crash, and because of that, you know, we saw riders from Jumbo-Visma down in it, EF Education obviously with Uran and Hugh Carthy. DeCoyne Quickstep were involved in it as well. Lotto Soudal and obviously Nico Roche, because he went down and eventually abandoned as well. But yeah, George Bennett clearly looked shook up on this one, so it must have been a massive crash. But in terms of the actual race, the breakaway went with about 122k to go, and it was a fairly sizable break. In there you had Nelson Oliveira, Godin, Turns, Polanski, Van Garderen, Amaral, Jemai, Dela Cruz, Hessing and Brambilla, and Jesus Herrada. Now that's Jesus Herrada, not Jose Herrada, that was in the breakaway yesterday. It's his brother, Jesus. Okay, just remember that. So that's going to be important a little bit later on. Now the breakaway had a fairly decent gap, and it appeared after that crash that no one in the peloton really wanted to chase it down and really go for the stage win. And it sounded like in George Bennett's interview when he spoke about the crash, he spoke within a couple of teams of the GC contenders, and they were all in agreement that no one really wanted the jersey. No one wanted to fight for it today because they know just how hard it's going to get over the next few weeks. So everybody almost just held back and said, you know what, let's just let the breakaway have it. They can do whatever they want, and ideally we want to be out of that red jersey so we can just concentrate on GC and we don't have to concentrate on defending it. So 65k to go, they had a 3 minute and 2 second lead, and the breakaway were working relatively well together. With 28 kilometers to go, the Ethiopian Jemai went alone on his own, trying to break out of the breakaway, managing to put a fairly decent gap into him. He got to around 30 seconds up the road. With 11k to go, Nelson Oliveira made the junction across to Jemai, and he started working with him, but it was to no avail. They were eventually going to get caught. And it was about this time that Tejay Van Garderen decided he wanted to go all horticultural honours and decided to take a left turn straight into the grass bank. And it does appear that he is going to be okay and he is going to be able to continue according to EF Education. But what a way to end your day for them guys. Just a shocking day. It must. Do you know what? The mood must be so crap once you've been in that team and you've started to develop that band over a couple of days, and then all of a sudden riders just disappear. They're just no longer there, and then the team just gets smaller and smaller. So now you're down to 6 riders and there's less people on the bus and there's no one riding for GC anymore. It must get, yeah, it must be like, you know, like on Love Island when someone gets kicked out of the villa. It must be just like that. I don't know. Anyway, with 2.5k to go, Dylan Teuns was on the front, Jesus Herrada was second place, and Nelson Oliveira was getting dropped like an absolute stone. Now at this point, Dylan Teuns realised he was in virtual GC, and if he could keep his tempo to the line, that he was going to be the new leader of the overall GC in La Vuelta. So his intention wasn't to win the stage at all. It was for him and Herrada just to work together and just get that stage victory for Herrada, which he did. He attacked him with like 200k to go. Dylan Teuns let him go. He came over the line, second place and taking the red jersey. So we've got a new leader in the red jersey. So Dylan Teuns is a new race leader, and thanks to his day in the breakaway, David De La Cruz is up to second position now, only 38 seconds behind Teuns. Third position was Astana rider who started out the day in the lead of the GC, Miguel Angel Lopez, and then it's As You Were back there. Roglic, Quintana, Hessing's moved him, didn't even realise that. My apologies, Roberto Hessinco. You've moved up to 6th position on GC, kicking down Alejandro Valverde. Chavs is down to 8th now. Rafa Majka down in 9th, and Pogacar down in 10th, 2 minutes and 47 seconds behind. So, I mean, it's all still to play for. Like George Bennett said in that interview, no one who is looking to have that red jersey in Madrid is bothered about having it right now. They just want to hand it over to someone who they know isn't going to be in contention towards the end of the race. Let them have their moment of joy. Let their team have to dictate the pace. Let their team do all the chasing for those breakaways for the next couple of days, so they can save some of their riders in reserves for when it gets really, 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 really tough. Right, stage 7, and they've actually decided to call this one a mountainous stage. The last two have been hilly stages, so you can imagine exactly what this one is going to be like. And this one is going to be the 3rd summit finish in a row. The race is almost split into half. First half, nothing, absolutely nothing. Just pan flat, easy riding. And then the second half, well, it's more like a 2/3 really, but that's where the action starts. A 3rd cat climb, a 2nd cat climb, a 3rd cat climb, followed by the sprint, followed by a 2nd cat climb, and then they finish on the category 1 climb, 4.1 kilometers long, an average of 12%. And you can see there, if it wasn't for that 3.3%, you'd be looking at an average of what, 15% there? Right at the bottom there, it peaks up at 22.5%. And then after that little respite at 3.3%, which is going to feel like they're going downhill after that, it's almost like a bloody brick wall. Now, bearing in mind that Saturday's stage is going to be a relatively flat one, there's a little Cat 2 climb. I say a little Cat 2, I couldn't get up it, but they'll think it's a little one. So just a little Cat 2. It's let's say, rolling on stage 8. So what do you think? What's your predictions? Do you think people are really going to try and put some time into everybody else? Or like you saw today, is everyone just going to get to the finish, let somebody else take the red jersey for the time being, and then start committing bodies up the road further down the line in the 2nd and the 3rd week? Leave those comments down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now, if you want to check out, don't forget, there's always these videos here you can check out. See them? I think one of them's like the best CPCM video ever, and the other one is like yesterday's CPCM video. Depends which order I've put them in, and just below me there is that subscription button. If you've not done it already, hit that subscription button, hit that like button, hit that dislike button, but above all else, do all that stuff on your computer, leave me loads of nice messages, enter that competition. We'll pick a winner tomorrow. I won't pick a winner tomorrow, I'm not here tomorrow, but I'll pick a winner soon. Promise. Peace. Laters. Douche.